What's happening? What's happening Facebook? What's happening YouTube? How are we? Hearing a lot of static today. Now this is the part that really irks the crap out of me, man. But I believe it's got something to do with my mics. Just back them up. Okay, so family, how are you? How was your day today? How was your day today? Good. Now remember, I'm always kind of streaming from two outlets. Facebook, YouTube. Okay. So if you see me looking here and looking here, that's because I'm trying to have my attention on both at the same time. Why did I choose to do that? I don't know. It felt like I can reach more people that way, maybe. You know, even though nobody checks in on me, maybe after the fact, but that's cool too, right? Listen, got a good topic today. And the topic today would be recognizing your imperfections. Yeah, recognizing your imperfections. You see, when I said that, I sat up straight because that's one of my imperfections that I'm always slouching. I don't sit straight. I know people that are shorter than me sit up taller than I do. That is a bad thing. And that's just poor posture on my part, you know? My mother always used to tell me, sit up straight, boy, you're going to have a hump in your back. I guess I've graduated to the hump now. It's not Wednesdays for me, it's every day. Get it? All right. Anyway, recognizing your imperfections, in which we all have. Some of us have more than others that we really don't want to talk about. These are the taboos that we don't really want to talk about. And matter of fact, even if we had more imperfections than other people, we try to mask it in the best way that we can so we don't look like we have so many imperfections. And you know, somebody like me, I guess I've gotten to a point in my time where I got tired of the game of trying to mask and cover up things all the time. So I think it was best for me to just be like, you know what? There's nowhere in the world I'm gonna be a perfect person. I can always strive to be better. And that's advice, good advice coming from anybody. Strive to be better. Right? But will you actually reach the goal of perfection? There's a lot of people that I've come across in my time cannot or have not reached that ultimate goal of perfection. They may look like they have, but they really have not. Because if you dive into who they are and how they live and how they think and how they have to operate behind the closed doors, then you kind of see, wow, that put together person really ain't that much above me. That's why we always say that there is nobody, you should never put anybody above you to that level to a point to say, well, you're inferior to them. You never, ever do that because you given the opportunity and the chances that you can be as superior as any person. But if you're being, you know, cheated out of the opportunities all the time, every way you turn, of course, then you won't have the same advantages as others who have been given that privilege, right? So, I mean, look, we all are imperfect. There's no way in the world that we can simply wake up every day and think that we're the crumb dilly cram or crumb dilly crumb. You know what I'm trying to say, right? We are not the cream of the crop, all of us. You know? That's family. We are not the cream of the crop. Now, for us to simply be like, you know what? I am I am special. I am somebody. I am a human being. I am a good person. We all have to feed ourselves that all the time, because the more that we do that, the better off we'll more than likely become. Because remember, whatever you practice to be is what you will eventually be. Sometimes it's even subconscious. You don't even realize that you're practicing a certain way, and you wind up being that way. And then years down the road, you wonder, after you look in the mirror real good at yourself, why do you crunch your face up like that all the time? Because it's something you've been doing subconsciously, you know? And whatever you practice is what you'll become. So if you practice having a screw face, then that's what you're gonna have eventually. Like me. That's why I try to smile a lot, try to raise my eyebrows up more, you know, be goofy more than being that serious, grouchy, crunchy face looking, you know, don't mess with me type look on my face all the time. That's one of my imperfections. You know, I recognize it. That's the beauty about being able to change. Actually, when you watch a baby grow from infant stage to toddler stage to young person stage to teenage stage to adult stage, once you watch that, that is amazing to see. And it's you, the parent or the guardian or the elders of those young people growing up. You you know, and even though you try to groom them to be perfect in most every way, you try to groom them to be the people that you want them to be. In other words, better than you have ever been. You groom your child or children to be greater than what you have become yourself. That is the goal, the push, that is the mindset. You want to feed them that constant, you can do it, you can do it, regardless on what people say. Some people would look at that in a jealous state and be like, oh, who do you think you are? You think you better than me. You think you better than people out here. You think you better than. Well, let's just put it this way. If you practice being better than you was the year before, ultimately you will become better than you were the year before. So when people say that, for your own personal position, not that you're greater or better than anybody else, but you're better than you personally was the year before. So if they say, you think you better than, say, no, I'm just better than me from last year. Because just by you asking me that, I probably want to punch you in your face or something. You know what I mean? But being that I'm not, obviously I've gotten better, right? I mean, you could say that, but then you could say other more intelligent things. You know? You can just simply say that it's my personal drive to be better each day, each week, each month, each year. So when you ask me, you think you better than somebody in so or me or whoever, I'm gonna say, well, no, I'm better than I was the year before. You see what I'm saying? That kind of neutralizes a whole lot. They can't keep hating on that because you're not pointing a finger at them. That's just their own imperfection and insecurities. That's their problem. That's not your problem. Your problem is you being a better person. And by you even saying that or having the mindset to even respond in that way, that shows the person you are a changed man and you're showing compassion. Because any other hot-headed individual would have took that a whole different way. And it could have gotten into a real bad place really quick. So therefore, yes, you are better than you was the day before or the month before or the year before. Take credit for that. Take credit for it. But recognize, even still, you try. You got the blueprint set in front of you to be perfect each day. The blueprint is set by the ultimate, God and Jesus Christ. Will you ever be like God, or will you ever be like Jesus? Probably not, because you're too human. You have all these imperfections about you. The way that you think, the way that you operate, the way you process, the way that you just respond sometimes. Sometimes it's just like you don't even realize how you respond. You know, sometimes somebody asks you, or you'll see somebody respond in a certain way to danger. And they'll say, man, if I was that person, man, I would have did A, B, and C, man. I wouldn't have ran like that, or I wouldn't have jumped on the ground. I would have, right? You don't know what you would have done until it happens. And if it had happened once before and you responded a particular way, then you kind of got an idea what you might do. I used to do the same thing until a dog jumped out of nowhere, and I said what I would do, jump on top of a car, and kick like crazy. But I wound up running the other way hard as I could. The dog was hot on my tail. So I thought, because I did it before, that I would jump on top of a car. But when it happened, unexpectedly out of nowhere, out of the dark, my first reaction was flight. There was no fight. There was just flight. And when I tell you I was flying, if I had feathers, I'm telling you now, I would have flew down about 2 or 3 blocks without my feet touching the ground, because dog was after me. You understand my point? That is another thing that we all have to try to keep in control in order to be more better or better than you was before, is to be aware of it. First off, that's just like a drug addict who won't recognize that they have a problem. So the less they recognize it, the more deeper into the problem they go. You see what I'm saying? So first and foremost, look at yourself in the mirror. Be honest with yourself when you look in your face. You look in your own face. Be honest about what you see. And you process. You think about it. You analyze. Some people say, I'm an over-analyzer. I over-analyze things. I can analyze my way out of a good thing sometimes. I probably have. Numerous occasions. But I still think that analyzing things is very important to all of us. You cannot just go with the first thought sometimes. Sometimes it's good. You're taking a test. Sometimes it's that first answer that you come up with. For the most part, for most people, I would say, not for me. It's not that first one, because the first one is like just trying to be quick like everybody else, and I don't want to be the last one taking a test. So yeah, I'm gonna be like, pew! Oh, let me think about that. Then I go back and I realize it's my second choice because I put more thought into it. My first choice was just like, pew, 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 just answering them straight off like a machine gun, boy. Halfway reading the daggone things. So if I'm speed reading, I'm not really processing everything right. And then if I do finish at a good time where I see, okay, there's like 5 or 6 more people still taking tests around here, I got time to go over it. Then I realized my second thought wound up getting me the B's and the A's. Well, I ain't gonna say A's. I'm gonna be honest with you. B's. I get them B's. But it was work. You know what I mean? It was something that I had to recognize about myself. I'm not that guy who's going to sit up there and be the fastest one in the class when it's time to answer some questions on a test. I know that there's people who compete in that way. When I was working down there at this other job and we was all getting processed into the job, we had to take a couple of tests. And this one kid was so proud of being great with numbers. And he was firing off on his paper. He was the first one done, first one to walk up there and hand his paper in. Come back, sit down, and sit back and stare at everybody else with a smirk on his face. And I'm just halfway through. Oh yeah, another one of my imperfections, y'all. You know, when it comes to paperwork, I ain't quick. But dag nabbit, when I get it, I got it. You know? And yeah, he scored high as well. That's what he was good at. Taking tests. It excited him to be the first in the class, and not just the first, but to get a high score. Me, I was just happy to finish the dag nabbit thing. Just be done, man. Don't keep asking these questions in a different way, but the same dag nabbit thing. It's the same question. You know? My imperfections that I'm sharing with you. I recognize them. I know what they are. I don't mask it. I don't give you the fake front. What you see in me is what you get. 100. I'm proud of that. That's what helped me build better character. I think that I am a better person than I used to be. And I'm just trying to share it with you in case some of you are stuck on that high horse. Some people get stuck on a high horse and they really don't know how to get off of it because it's been them such a long time. They have adapted it in a way to say, this is me. This is me. I have to live this way constantly 24/7 because this is who I am. Is it really who you are or who you was designed to be? That's what the problem is with a lot of us people. Now I'm talking to everybody. I ain't just talking to my brothers and sisters. I'm talking to everybody. I don't care what race you come from. At this moment, I don't care. You are my human brother and sister right now. I mean, always, but I recognize that. But I'm talking to everybody. I have to talk to everybody because this is something that every single individual in the world deals with. Sometimes they're honest about it, and a lot of times they're not. See, a lot of people want to save face. They don't want to feel that embarrassment of being inferior, or I don't say inferior, I say have these imperfections. I wouldn't say inferior. I would say just having these imperfections is embarrassing to people. They rather do every cheat, lie, and sneak and crooked thing to make it appear that they got it. They're so well-rounded all the way around. The appearance means more to them than the actual truth. Good Lord, man. Or if I was a preacher. But I ain't. And I don't want to be. We have enough of them. Very good ones, I would say. But I will simply say this. As far as who I am, I have now come out of a shell. Thank you. Thank you so much. I've come out of a shell that I used to be in. I used to be afraid to express myself because I had so many imperfections about me. I feel speaking in public. Not me, don't point at me. Don't have me stand up in no class and read nothing. Don't embarrass me like that. Or I might get up and embarrass myself, stumbling over words that I should know out of nervousness. Don't point at me, Dad. That's the way and when they did point at me, I had an attitude. I was not just nervous. I had an attitude and I was mad. Now I'm looking at the teacher like, oh, okay, you trying to put me on the spot, right? Why didn't you call Mr. Smart Johnny over there, up in the front of the class, who likes to be number one all the time? Call that dude. Why you call me in the back of the class? I didn't ask for that. You ain't see my hand go up, dagnabbit. My imperfections stopped my hand from going up like that. My insecurities stopped my hand from going up and say, I'll read it in class. Nah, not me. What? I didn't, and I didn't want to. But that day, I did. I stuttered. I used to have a stuttering problem back in the day, believe it or not. It wasn't bad, but it was just not like Joe Biden. It wasn't that bad. I mean, look, Joe doing real good. Being I just brought his name up. He doing good, but you'll catch him sometime getting stuck. Yeah, y'all can tease him all you want, man. The man is patriotic. Yeah, he didn't stutter on that part, I don't think. He didn't stutter. He said patriotic. That's what he is. Straight up. See his heart right there. He ain't perfect, right? But we all have our imperfections. That's his. And if we got to talk about people's imperfections, we can go ahead into the political realm and start talking about the guy who was before Biden and his imperfections, which we won't get into. We'll save some more of that for another day because we have we got a whole daggone universe full of that crap from that guy. He's the master of it. But anyway, yep, I was nervous, stood up in the classroom, did my piece, struggled through it, you know. Afterwards, I felt better. I was embarrassed, yes, still, because the kids would pick on me. Yeah, they picked on me. That's okay. Well, it wasn't okay then, right? That's why I don't like bullies. Don't like bullies. I used to get bullied a lot. When I got bigger, I even got bigger than my bullies. That was beautiful. I almost became a bullying the bullies because I got bigger than the bullies and the bullies couldn't beat me no more. When I realized I can fight. I really can fight. So bring it on. You know, I was kind of like that. Come on. Oh, you're picking on that little guy? Pick on me. Right? I wasn't great at it, but I just realized that I had to face my fears. That was another one of my imperfections. Being afraid to face my fears, man. I was scared. I didn't know how to start. I had nobody to guide me on how to start to face my fears. The best way to face any fear that you have is to pray about it and dive in. Let the chips fall where they may. When that happens, for the most part, your mind, before anything was to even happen, your mind have created a little lump right there to be this giant mountain. That's how bad things were going to be. As big as a mountain in your life. And you were so afraid of that imaginary mountain that you've created in your head if you was to face your fear. But the funny thing about that, it's scary, man. If any one of you had to do it, which every one of you had to at some point in your life, and if you haven't, as a grown person, it's coming. You're going to have to face your fears, buddy. One of these days. But the beautiful thing about it is, after you've been almost scared to death about this thing, or this person, or whatever the case is, once you face the fear, and you realize at the very end, you come out on the other side, and the little lump like that you thought was going to be a mountain in your mind wound up just being a little lump. And you hopped over that lump, flying colors. That's one imperfection that I've managed to fix along the way. But trust me, my daggone journey was not over with imperfections. That was just one of millions that I have. So that was one. Now I got it behind me. It's in the back of my mind. If I ever was put in that position again, I know how to deal with that thing. I can deal with it because I conquered it once before. I can conquer it again if I let it get too crazy in my mind. Right? That's why we have to stay in control, stay grounded. Right? Put things in the right perspective. Try your best to remember situations and things and people when you were a certain age and you grow up, and then you look at another person who used to be that age and they're cutting up so bad, and you look at them like you little monster, you no good little son of a gun, you know you shouldn't, and why are you here? You don't talk at them like that. You slow it down and go back in your own memory of time and think about, that was once me. So you have to remember how you dealt or was dealt with back then. How guardians and parents and older people dealt with you and how you felt. And you, back in the day when you was being treated that way, you rebelled a lot. And you were like, you know what? I can't stand so-and-so. I can't stand Mr. Johnson. I can't stand Miss Adams. I can't even stand my mama. Always getting on me about something, But then you realize how you used to be and you got over that. Right? Some people harbor this stuff inside for a very long time when they become older people. That's why I'm going to tell you another story. Now, that particular incident, about that young person and you growing up and you realize that you used to be that age. So you have to remember how to talk to them. Remember how you wanted somebody to talk to you, but maybe they didn't. But now is your opportunity to pass it on and treat them with some concern and let them know, I'm listening to you. But I want you to listen to me as well. You talk to them. You ain't got to talk to them like you're his best buddy or anything, right? You don't have to talk to him like that's your best bud, your best friend in the world. But you want to talk and let them know that I hear you. That's how you help the other generation get past certain imperfections. Certain imperfections that they kind of get stuck at. And nobody has the real answer to. Because it seems like nobody's really listening. Or maybe they're listening or they heard just a nice little snippet of it. And then they start barking orders at them. Don't nobody like being barked at. I don't like it. Don't bark at me, man. Or miss, or whoever you might be. Don't bark at me. Talk to me. Hear me. Respond to what I'm saying. Give me that back and forth. Don't just start trying to run me over with a bunch of words and telling me that I can't speak. That's how we feel when we get pulled over by a police officer as grown people. This is their imperfection. That maybe somewhere in their past, they was mistreated. Maybe they were bullied in school. Or maybe they come from a messed up home. And now they're somebody of authority. Now they're going to exert themselves over other people unjustly. That's an imperfection that they've harbored since they were small, all the way up into adulthood. Now we got to get into the psyche of why these things are even happening. We have to all look in the mirror and be honest with ourselves. Now, if they all can do that, when I say they all, meaning police officers who are dirty to the core, who can look in the mirror and be honest with themselves and ask themselves the question, who am I? Am I righteous or am I not righteous? Am I wicked or not. People say that I am. And then you gotta ask yourself, how do you feel when you pull somebody over of color? How does it make you feel inside? Or if you pull somebody over that looks like a bully back in your day, when you was little and used to get bullied, and you see somebody who looks familiar, how do you respond to that? You have to get into their freaking minds, man, and understand why. Because there's a reason why everybody does and react the way that they do these days. Everybody. I don't care who you are. You may have a better handle on how to respond to certain things because you are more in control. And you've dealt with a lot of those imperfections about yourself. And then you've always been tested each day. Every day you're being tested. There's not a day go by that you're not being tested in something. And it's a matter of how you respond to that thing, whatever it is. You respond in a hot-tempered way. As soon as somebody says something off the cuff, that's an imperfection about you. We all have the ability to control that and to make it better. Not that you forget about it, but you can handle that thing, put it in your backsack. Remember how you dealt with it, because in order for you to grab it in the first place, is being able to handle the thing. Handle it. It's in your hand. Now you're dealing with it. It's not out of control. It's not jumping over here and over there. You got it right there. And you say to yourself, this imperfection right here in my hand, I know what it does to me, and I know what it makes me do to others. So what do I do with it? I let it run wild? Let it control me? Or do I control it? And the decision is made at that point if you can handle it. You take it. You handle it. You put it in your backsack. That's one or another imperfection along your way that you dealt with. You dealt with that imperfection. Did you fix it? Let's just say you're still a work in progress. You're still a work in progress. Because it can flare up again. You're going to be tested in that area again. If you forget that it's in your backsack, then it's going to creep back out and show its ugly head and make you look like a total moron, which I've made myself look like on numerous times, sometime on the same situation. But guess what? I got it in my backsack now. I think I got a handle on some things. They ain't what I'm saying? Right? So we all, everybody, it doesn't matter who you are, where you come from, what color you are, what language you speak. We all have imperfections. Now we have to recognize them. That's the first step to fixing a problem, is to recognize the problem. Are you bullies listening to that? I hope some of you bullies are getting that. Yeah. Only one way to fix a problem within yourself, that is recognize that first off, it is a problem. That's your imperfection. And then you manage that thing. You may not be able to eliminate it like, poof, it's gone. That's not going to happen. And if it does happen like that, thank God that you can do that. Because in most people, it doesn't happen that way. You have to work on it. Work on it. First, recognize it, imperfections, and then work on it, imperfections, and then practice it. Whatever you practice, you will be imperfections. If you work on beating your imperfections, then you will be good at not allowing those imperfections to guide you in the wrong direction. Woo. That's for real. That's real. It don't have to come from a scholar. You dig? It don't have to come from somebody who studied 4 to 5 years of college. Because really, it's common sense. What? Common sense? You mean to tell me I went to study sociology all these years and you tell me it's just common sense? Yeah, they teach you how to understand the big words of sociology, psychology, the big words. Know how to put them in the right perspective when you're talking to somebody in the medical field. That's what they teach you. But it's common sense. If you stop, slow down, and take a deep look at yourself, you can learn a lot about the world by recognizing yourself, the way that you respond, you react, the way that you think, and what drove you to think the way that you do, to respond in the way that you do about different things that come to you. You have to analyze yourself. There's a lot of people who don't want to do that. Analyze myself. Some people are so busy analyzing everybody else that they don't even recognize that they themselves have a problem. Just like a doctor. A doctor's always studying other people. The anatomy, the whatever he masters in. He studies everyone else and could have one of the biggest imperfections ever. But he's behind that knife. Has control of your life on that daggone operating table. But he has a deep-rooted situation that he masks because he's a doctor. And God forbid that he fall victim to that imperfection, whatever it might be, while you're on that table. That is known to happen. So we have to check ourselves first before we can go out there trying to check everybody else. Check yourself first, man, or female, or whoever you might be, or whoever you think you want to be. You too. Check yourself first. Be honest with yourself when you look in the mirror. Look in the mirror. What do you see? Look in the mirror. What do you see? Be honest with yourself. Right? That's the same as everything ties together. In my book and in my understanding of life as a whole, everything ties together. I talked about self-love the other day. How you gonna love somebody else and you don't even love yourself? That's an imperfection as well. You have to look in the mirror, look at your heart. You got not just look at the surface of what you see in the mirror. Don't just look at your image. Look past your image. Look what's in your brains, the way that you think. What caused you to think the way that you do? And whatever the way you think, you train your heart to be. Because you take information in, and you process it in your brain. And the more that you go over it in your brain, you train your heart to come accustomed to that thing, whatever it is. Your heart. And once your heart is into it, it drives your entire body, your whole being into this thing that you've convinced yourself first of, and it's harbored into your heart. So you react when you see it. Your eyes see it. It shoots the message to your brain processes it. And because you've been always constantly going by this over and over and convincing yourself, now it's deep into your heart. And now your body reacts and responds to it. It's why you got so many crazy people out there doing crazy things. That is why. Analyze yourself. That's the only way you're going to fix anything. And everything is tied together. Believe it or not, even though we all got different skin tones, we still tied together. Common sense. How in the world can another man or female say to me, "You're not my brother. You're not my brother. Your mother didn't have me." Right? But in fact, I am your brother. You know, there's some people that, boy, they like, no, no, you're not. And I'm like, yes, I am. And what really get them the best, I like the expression that they give me when I say, I was born here on earth, and so were you. So that makes you, ain't that what Bill Cosby used to do? You, right? Are human too. That makes you my brother or my sister. Like it or not. I like it. I'm glad that I can point out that you are my brothers and sisters because of how much you hate me. You hate me so much. You can't stand the fact that I'm your brother or sister. I can't be nobody's sister, but you get my drift. You know what I mean? Just that look on your face. Oh, ooh, nah, and you'll deny it till the cows come home. Even though it makes nothing but sense, you will deny it because you don't want to accept the fact. Because what had happened over time, that whatever had processed in your mind about a person, thing, people, objects, whatever, you see it, you process it, and then you harbor it. Once it's harbored in your heart, you react physically to it. Now, your reaction might be a very negative, hateful reaction, or it might be a very loving reaction. But you're going to react one way or another because of what your mind had processed over and over and convinced you to harbor that thing in your heart. And then once it's harbored, then your body reacts to it because it drives you to be or to do something about that thing that you have convinced your mind, that your mind convinced your heart to be. It's hard to undo that process. How can you change your heart without changing your mind? You can't. You have to change here first. You have to change how you think that will change your heart. That's deep, man, sisters. That's real though. Analyze yourself and you'll understand the world better if you analyze who you are and why you are. Why do you respond the way that you do? Look at yourself in the mirror. You understand? This is common sense. You don't have to go to college to learn this. You don't have to have degrees behind your name to learn this. But you have to have a deep processing thought. You have to know how to analyze. You have to have a deep way to analyze life by using yourself as an example. Use yourself. I have changed in many, many ways. Ask me today, do I love white people? No, I don't love them. Here's the change though. The ones who love me, I love them back. If you love me, I'm going to love you back. That's the change of process that I have begun to work on as far as my imperfections were. Because I know that there's white people who are willing to die for me, a black man. In their society, they have been taught not to have that kind of concern for a black or brown person or the lovers of black or brown people. They have been pushed and constantly brainwashed from one generation to the next to dislike us. So how in the world can I, a black man who really don't prefer white people, how can I care and accept them? I have to change in here. That changes here. Change my mind pattern, and then it changes my heart. If I practice it over and over and over again, that's common sense. Could I fall in love with a white person? Yes, I think I could. Do I love white people as of how I know them today? I ain't gonna say that I can or do at this point until I meet somebody who is worthy of that type of love from me. Because whatever way they love me, I'm gonna love you back. That's just the way I operate. Is it right? As a Christian, it might not be so right because you're supposed to love everybody, even your enemies, as a Christian. And that's another one of my imperfections that I'm working on. I'm working on it. You dig? Because if you hit this cheek, I'm gonna hit yours back. I ain't turning it over here. Dagnabbit. You're not gonna hit this one. You don't mess this one up. Now why am I giving you this one? I'm working on that. I'm learning how to dip and slip. You got boop, oh, get up under them joints, I ain't trying to get this side messed up. This is already jacked up. My imperfections, I'm sharing with you. Right? The course of life. That's my time. I didn't know what in the world I was going to talk about here today, y'all. But it turned out dagnabbit good, man. Why? Because I go through this deep thought sometimes. I've been over this stuff so many times in my mind. I'm invested in this. What you see me doing, I'm invested in it even though y'all didn't even know. This is who Daryl really is. The Daryl that you met was low key, trying to be anyway. Low key dude, trying to be low key, man. Because I had imperfections. I didn't know how people would respond to my imperfections. But right now, I don't care. If I say something wrong or spell something wrong, you think I care about how y'all think about it? I don't. I keep it moving, man and sisters. You dig? That's my advice to you as well. Analyze yourself. Realize your own imperfections. And if you're trying to be a better person, work on changing the way you think about things that you see and perceive. Because two people can look at the same thing and get two different thoughts. You can see it their way, and you can see it your way as well. It doesn't have to be just my way or the highway. And some things, just some things. I'm just going to we ain't going to get into that right now. We can get into some stuff like that later. But for now, change how you think about a lot of things. Go over it over and over in your mind and convince your heart to react in a different way than you used to. If it was a negative way, you got to train yourself how to react to things in a more positive way. Woo! That's deep, bro. Yo, hold on a second. That was good, Daryl. Yep, that was pretty good, bro. You understand? I pat myself on the back, dagnabbit. Ask me if I feel some type of way about that. Heck to the no, I don't. You know what I mean? Because if y'all ain't gonna do it, guess what? I'll do it myself. That's how confident I am about me. All right? But the only way to change and to be better in anything you do or the way that you think. If you used to be a hateful person, start looking at the brighter side of people. That doesn't mean that everybody gonna change it because you looking at them on a brighter side that everybody just gonna brighten up and be good. No, you're still gonna have your bad apples out there because they're hard-headed. In every race, in every country, you just got a whole pocket full of hard-headed people who ready to go to you know where because they don't want change. They don't want to look at themselves and say that there's an issue with them. They rather look outward at everybody else's issue and problems and blame all y'all out there. It's your fault. You're the reason why things are the way that there is now. It's just you, and you, and you, and you. But they don't look at themselves at all as a problem. I can't blame me. I'm not the problem. Look at me. I am not the problem. And they could be pushing hate constantly, through every crevice of their teeth, they're pushing hate. But they don't see it. And then the people around them, they're not real friends because they're not checking them and telling them, Mr. Johnson, that is a little, that's not right, sir. Nobody will tell them that. So they continue on. This is how it works, man. Recognize it in yourself, and you can understand the world better. All right. On that note, family, I went past my time once again. I enjoy myself with this stuff. Y'all check it out. Oh, here's my announcement. I'm not doing Instagram no more live. That is it. I'm just not going to do it. Why? You may ask me, but I'll tell you. Because it's too much, man. I'm going to stay on the two platforms that I'm good at, that I'm comfortable with, and that's YouTube. Hey, my peoples, YouTube. And wait, I did that wrong. Facebook. You see, that was dyslexia that just happened. Another one of my imperfections. But Facebook, yeah, love you. And YouTube, yeah, love you. These are two platforms I'm staying on. Okay? I'm not doing Instagram no more, man. Me trying to bounce back and forth like that ain't working, right? It's just frustrating me. I'm getting mad, But I got YouTube. I got YouTube and Facebook. Y'all my family, That's what it's gonna be. We tight like that. Yeah. All right. Let me stop playing around. Oh man, I ran over my time. All right, listen, family. Treat people. Yeah. Like you want to be treated. And it will come back around because it has for me. Oh yeah, let me just add this as well. Don't just allow it to be Black History Month in February. For all my brothers and sisters and lovers of my brothers and sisters, every day is Black History Day. All year round. Because they tried to give us just that one little month. We gonna take that month too, but we're gonna add 11 more. Dig it? So let it be. Let it be said, then let it be done. Every day, for the Black and brown and the lovers of Black and brown people of the world, not just of the United States, celebrate Black History Day. Happy Black History Day today. And tomorrow, I'm going to say the same thing. Happy Black History Day tomorrow as well. And every day after. That's it. My family, peace. Treat people with nothing but love, all right? Now, tell somebody you love them. Well, let me start. Let me be the first one. Facebook. I love y'all. YouTube, I love y'all. Goodbye.